Hi, hope you've had a good week. Today's shir is something different. We're going to be talking about the issues of conflict between what you hear, what some of you will hear, when you're exposed to the academic world, on your way home from seminary or otherwise, and what you know to be true. So, our class today is, of course, as always, dedicated to the memory of Rachelei Bas Rav Chaim Tzvi, and it should be an aliyah for her neshama. So first I want to talk about the problem. Okay, the problem has three aspects. The first aspect is that we value tahara. So what is tahara? If I was holding in my hand a cup, and I told you this cup, I'm sure you all see the cup, the non-existent cup. The cup contains honey. And I would say it's pure honey. That means it's only honey, not something else. So what truth is essential reality. Not reality plus agenda, not reality plus will, but reality as it is. So from that perspective, a pure person is a person who is genuinely human. There's nothing impeding their spiritual soul, which is what makes them a human and not an animal, from being expressed. So tahara has an opposite. The opposite is tuma, which means blockage. The ultimate blockage is death. When a person is dead, they could do nothing at all. They're completely blocked. So spiritual tahara means spiritually being unblocked. Every sin creates a mechitza. Spiritual tuma means being blocked by something. It could be desire, it could be envy, it could be all sorts of things. So the Ramak will talk about how every limb and organ requires veins to feed it blood. And if there's a blockage, that limb or that organ will wither and die. It will become gangrenous. So in the same way, we try to do everything we can to prevent our own blockage. So we know, for instance, eating non-kosher food, the Gemara tells us it leads to timtum halev, which isn't a cardiological condition. It means it causes you to lose sensitivity of the heart. Now, how that works with kashrut is a different topic. We could talk about it in a different frame, not today. But we're told that this is the cause and effect. So, because we value tahara, we try to protect our children and ourselves from an environment in which lack of tahara is normal. So that means also lack of truth, lack of spiritual integrity. And there's a reason why we try to be so protective. People will sometimes say, well, if what you're saying is true, what are you so afraid of? Why can't you just stand up for the truth? So I want to quote Rambam, who, if anything, was certainly an open-minded individual. It's human nature, he tells us, not human weakness, to be influenced by our environment. And he speaks about two levels of influence: the influence of the social environment, wanting the acceptance that comes from feeling at home in the culture that surrounds you, and personal influence. We want our friends to approve of us. We tend to consciously or subconsciously adapt their beliefs and opinions. So with that in mind, we're unapologetic about wanting tahara. So the result of that is that if a person has a lev tahor, a heart that's itself, that's tahor, that's unblocked, then they're a stranger to all of the agents of blockage. They don't identify the various forces for what they are. So, to understand this more concretely, suppose you grew up watching cartoons. People have done worse things than that. And cartoons sometimes are pretty violent. There's a lot of, like Bugs Bunny or whoever, like picking up a stick and walloping somebody over the head, and then the cartoon says boing, and the person is dead, and like angels go up. So what's the effect of that? The effect of it is that you're not so scared of the concepts. Okay, they're common. They're also falsified, but they're common, so you're not so scared of them. In Buddhist theological legendary, Prince Buddha lived a life in which he was completely protected, and when he saw human pain, he was torn apart to the point that he tried to ultimatize compassion as a value. So the reason I'm giving you a foreign example, I could have found a Judaic example, is that this truth concerning Tumah and Tahara, leading to callousness and lack of callousness, is accepted by everyone. So because of this, somebody who grew up in a relatively secularized environment, let's say someone who went to a modern Orthodox school and was exposed to teachers, certainly in the secular department, from a great variance of background, they've already heard it. They've already heard that they say something we don't say. And they got used to it. Boing, that sort of. They don't have to take it so seriously. Conversely, if you grow